Using group by is one of those abilities that will absolutely change the way you look at SQL Server. It'll change the way you prepare data for reports. It'll change the way you think about what you can do with data when you're designing or architecting a database. Now, I'm going to take you through some examples, but I want to make real sure I go slowly and step by step and make sure you get this. And you can look out there in your working files folder on this, just like most of these examples, and I will have the code very similar to what I used here so that you can go back and refer to it. But when you're using group by, it groups a selected set of rows into a set of summary rows. One row gets returned for each group, or one row gets returned for each column that I mentioned in the group by clause. Now, every column that is not part of the group by clause must be using an aggregate function. Why is that? So that it will return a single value for the group. Now, there's no easy way to understand that other than for me to go out there and just kind of show it to you. So let's jump out there and take a look in the Management Studio. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to start, and I'm just going to copy and paste our first query in. And notice we're going to be using a table. I'm in the AdventureWorks 2012 database, and if you'll scroll right down here, you can see I'm using the sales.sales territory table because it has some data in it that's very, very easy for us to understand what's going on, okay? Notice that it has this sales last year, sales year to date we're going to take a look at. And then we're also going to take a look at this country region code. Now, the way that this database was set up and the way they're differentiating their sales, they have regions set up. They have a North America group, and then they have a region code. Okay, so the U.S. is in North America, and then they have divided the U.S. into regions. Then the Northwest, that's in the U.S. and it's in North America. The Northeast is in the U.S. It's in North America. Central is U.S. North America. And what they're doing here is they're like pre-aggregating to make it kind of easy to query from. I'm going to show you how to do it if we had just this column right here, and we're going to use group by to do it. You will come across this situation all over the place when you're trying to provide queries for upper management who are looking for large scale, big picture items. You'll do it for reports, all sorts of things. So let's start off and let's just take a look at a simple set of data that we need to clean up. Okay, so we're going to select the country region code and the sales year to date column from sales.sales territory. And I'm just going to arrow down and enter on that. Okay, and so I'm going to execute that. And you can see that we have 5 listings for the US, right? We have 5 listings for the U.S., and then we've got other listings for, looks like Canada, France, and some other places, all right? Now, I need to roll all of these up, but first, I want to show you that we can use the where clause to limit some of our results, okay? Now, I'm just going to copy my query, and I'm going to come right down here and paste it. And the only difference is this time, I'm going to say where sales year to date is greater than 6 zeros is 4 million. Now I'm going to come back down here and look at this result set. This one looks like it's 2.4 million. This one looks like it's 3.072, and this one may be too low too. So let's just query and see what we get back. Okay. Notice we only got 2 US's back, and it looks like we dropped somebody else here, the DE, Denmark, I guess. But notice we've still got these sales numbers, but we've still got 2 lines on the US. Well, we've also had to limit out some other stuff. But let's say that we want to see total groups, but we want to take out any individual regions that didn't have at least 4 million. So we've at least got the 4 million out of there. Now let's look at a group by exercise or group by example. Okay. Now I'm going to get just this on the screen, and I'm going to paste that same query that I just had in there. So this is our query, right? However, we want to do a little group by here, okay? And so we're going to say group by country region code. Now I want to show you something here. I'm going to get an error message, but if I try to execute this, the query engine is going to say, whoa, wait a minute, dude, you can't do that. You've got sales territory, sales year to date is invalid because if you'll notice what's happening here, if I run this, the group by is going to try to return 1 row, a country region code for every country region. But sales year to date, I know when US has more than 1 line, right? So I can't do that. So I'm going to have to use an aggregate function here. So I'm going to call the sum on sales year to date Then I am going to execute this guy. Not technically, but you know what I'm saying. Notice it gave me one entry on these. Okay? And if you'll go back and pull those other numbers and add them up, you'll see that these add up on the U.S. for those people who had more than 4 million in sales. Now, pay close attention to what we've done. Run this again, play with it, change the code up a little bit, make sure this makes sense to you. What the group by did, the group by rolled all of these up. It found every unique value, rolled all the other ones up with it, and then it aggregated all the sales year-to-date numbers for all those that it rolled together, and it generated one line for each group, and it rolled all the numbers up. But it stripped out anybody, any country region code that didn't have at least 4 million in sales first. This is a real quick look at group by. Make sure this makes sense to you before you move on.